Hello my friends and welcome to Artsy Not Fartsy. Today I'm working with a stamp from the Genius range made and sold by the online store craftyanni.com. I chose to work with Einstein today, but there are many geniuses in the collection and you will find the links to Crafty Annie in the description box below. They ship all over the world. Right now we have Marie Curie, Niels Bohr, Edison, Tesla, Schrödinger and Einstein in the collection of geniuses, but it might grow, and I hope you will follow the links and see all the fun craft supplies they have in store. I start with my background using the periodical alphabet system stamp set that helped me spell out genius words across my panel. I use the periodic system squares to spell out brainy, nerdy and genius. When all the squares are where I want them, I heat emboss them with Wow's clear matte dull embossing powder. I stamp in VersaFine Clear Nocturne ink, cover with that matte dull powder and melt it with my heat tool. Using the same distance between the squares, I place them on the lower part of my panel and do the same process again, heat embossing the same words one more time. Next, I want a rustic, almost steampunkish background, and since I heat emboss the words, they will resist all the mediums and water I throw at them. I'm using Dilutions ink spray in ground coffee and an assortment of pigment powders, rust from Finnabair, golden sparkle from Nuvo, and black brochure powder. I spray the panel with water and add the ground coffee ink spray from Dilutions. Then I add a small amount of the powders all over the panel and activate the powders with water from a spray bottle. I push the paper down and lift it up, tilting it so the colors can run, drip and blend. I give my background a quick blast with my heat tool and move on to Einstein. I'm planning on coloring with my Uhuhu alcohol markers, so I choose a paper called The Wall from Canson and Memento Tuxedo Black ink for the stamping. I stamp Einstein in that alcohol marker friendly ink and move on to coloring. Before I color, I always pick out my color combos and have them ready to go. My husband gave me the Uhuhu skin tone marker set for Christmas, and I use 3 shades to color Einstein's face, starting with the lightest shade all over the face, saturating the paper, then my medium shade, followed by the darkest, and back again, blending out the shadows with the lightest marker again. I color Einstein's tongue with 3 shades of pink, and then I move on to his big cup of coffee using 3 red markers. Just as before, I saturate the paper with my lightest red. It makes the blending easier when I have a coat of color first. Then I make shadows with my medium and dark marker and go back again until I'm blending them together with my lightest shade again. For his mustache, hair and eyebrows, I use 2 light grey markers, adding grey at the root of the hair and then using my colorless blender to fade out the grey into white, giving his white hair some shadows. I do the same process on his pants, using 3 brown markers and using them again for the coffee in his cup. I use 3 warm grey markers for his jacket, and then I use the cooler greys from his hair to color the steam from his coffee mug. Finally, I use 2 dark grey markers for his shoes and 1 red for the tie peeking up from his jacket. Because I have this picture in my head telling me how to proceed, I use the same supplies as I did on the background to make 1 more panel to be used later. Next, I have these coffee beans from a Swedish stamp company called Gummiapan. I have Wow's ebony superfine embossing powder, and I stamp the beans in Versamark embossing ink, cover with that black powder and melt it with my heat tool, and I do it many times, making many coffee beans. To color the embossed coffee beans, I use Dilutions ink spray in ground coffee and a regular round brush, and I love those black raised lines together with the dark brown ink. At this point I need sentiments, and they all have to do with coffee, saying behind every genius thought is a substantial amount of coffee, and the equation energy equals milk times coffee. I have Wow's bright white superfine embossing powder and that extra panel I made earlier, and I intend to heat emboss the sentiments on parts of that grungy panel. I stamp in Versamark sticky embossing ink and cover with Wow's bright white powder and melt with my heat tool, and I do the same for both sentiments. I use my scissors to cut around the sentiments, and then I glue them on to red cardstock and cut them out again, leaving a thin red frame. Now, let's put this mixed media card together. I glue a black piece of cardstock on a slightly bigger piece of red cardstock, and then I take my grungy background panel and go around the edges with black ink. I glue my yummy grungy panel onto the black cardstock, framing it in both black and red. Then I bring out those heat-embossed coffee beans and glue them on to my card in random clusters. I put foam tape behind my coffee-drinking Einstein and glue him standing on those squares. I put foam tape behind both my sentiments and glue them in place as well. And now this genius mixed media Crafty Annie card is finished. Thank you so much for watching and welcome back for more. Until the next time, happy crafting!